So, ponder me this, right? Where else might Florian's ability come into use? Yeah, ponder tokens. So ponder tokens are aura tokens, right? In fact, there are many aura tokens, but you don't have access to any might cards or, say, vigor. They're the two that really jump out to me. That would be fun and interesting to play with. You definitely don't have access to the plague mechanic, right? So blood rot, frailty, or inertia. But we do have access to ponder, right? With damage prevention too. Now, here's the fun thing. So each of these is generating one ponder token, but as long as Florian's ability is active, they're generating two, right? Meaning that we can actually positive draw by playing Peace of Mind. So we could potentially wait till our opponent's turn, right? We have how much damage prevention here? We have 12 damage prevention plus any equipment we throw into it, right? And then we'd basically forego a turn to then have an extra card overall, right? On our following turn. Or we could, in a sense, front load it, right? By playing Peace of Mind on our turn and just using them as a draw engine to set up for future turns, right? So Peace of Mind, Peace of Mind, and Peace of Mind, and all of a sudden we're at 6 cards, right? So Ponder will draw cards equal to it, meaning we're above our intellect, we're above stashing 1 card in the arsenal, meaning we can have a 6-card hand with no card in the arsenal, meaning that just disruption effects or anything that targets the arsenal is no longer an issue. So overall, I think that's quite beneficial, is it not? And technically, we could still put something in the arsenal if we wanted to put something in the arsenal, which I will, right, just for the sake of showing off. Premeditate, but yeah, take some damage, and then premeditate. So there are 3 pondered cards in total that Florian has access to. Peace of Mind in its set, Premeditate, which is just red because it's majestic, and Destructive Deliberation, I'll probably put it on screen, right, which is a on-hit create a ponder token. I think out of the 3 of them, Peace of Mind, obviously super easy to use, just pitch into it, create 2 ponder tokens, pretty fantastic, plus damage prevention, right, even if you're just throwing 1 out. Again, the fact that it's going to be draw 2 at the end of your next turn, right, so card in the arsenal, if you can hit that critical mass where you overdraw past your intellect, or if you use it in conjunction with something like 10 foot tall and bulletproof, right? Where the negative intellect no longer matters because, again, we're just lowering the intellect bracket that we have to supersede, right? With our ponder generation, in which case we have premeditates player. So we could, triple premeditate, and premeditate, the ponder clause is when you play an action card and it hits, right? It doesn't have to be played from Arsenal, but of course the buff is on a card played from Arsenal. So this in itself is still kind of a nice turn, right? It's a 19 10 foot tall and bulletproof that if it hits is going to draw us 6 cards, right? With the 1 card that we already have left over, because again, intellect doesn't matter. So we now have a 7-card hand. And we don't really need to put something in the arsenal. It doesn't really matter, but we can, right? And then, of course, we can go into our opponent's turn with Peace of Mind, in this case. And yeah, continue the damage prevention. Nice and simple. In fact, I'm going to go overboard because, again, I want to just show off stacking our hand, right? So there's another 6 ponder tokens. We still have 2 cards left over. If we had another 10 foot tall, but each turn we're preventing damage and drawing more and more cards over and over again, right? We can do it one more time since that's all 9 Peace of Minds. So Peace of Mind, pitch, Peace of Mind, pitch, and lucky last. And yeah, in total, we now have how many cards? We now have a 9-card hand to go into a rune chant combo, right? Which is definitely something doable, right? You basically just take some very easy fatigue cards like Fruits of the Forest. You can take Count Your Blessings. You could then use the, I think it's a defense reaction, right? Yeah, the Rootbound Caprice, right? 4 block, pretty decent, plus then starts activating your Decompose. Peace of Mind, again, more damage prevention. Stack up your hands slowly, right? Again, as you find Peace of Minds, you're still using them to prevent damage, but they're also furthering your fatigue game plan to have this really big explosive turn. And you then have the sigils, you then have any of the other ways we sort of shown off to stack your hand even further. And yeah, insanity afoot, right? But again, 10 foot tall and 2 Peace of Minds is enough to circumvent. So what would your hand be, right? It'd be 2 Peace of Minds, a 10 foot tall, and 1 blue, right? Opponent's turn, you can use 2 Peace of Minds to negate what damage they're doing, and then your turn is nice and simple, just a swing for 10, which is decent itself. Or you could even block for the 10, have a very slow turn, but then still have that ponder where you now have 4 because of Florian's ability off of 2 cards, and you still draw to a normal hand, right? That's pretty crazy to me. And it does make me curious overall, right? If Florian doesn't, LL, he's another limitation for generic slots, right? There's always these little interactions that are kind of questionable, right? Why didn't they just make it a rune chance, right? Why didn't they make it very specific? Because yeah, it's just if they put more ponder, they do something with might. If they do something with any other aura token, Florian can just go nuts with it. But I do think ponder, considering again the whole push to get rid of draw. I mean, a 2 cost for draw 2 and damage prevention seems kind of nice to me. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. See ya.